Hello once again. Okay, so we have a collection of games recently released for Nintendo Switch. Sunsoft is back, consists of 3 relatively odd games that I hadn't played before. Sunsoft is perhaps best known for NES titles such as Batman, Fester's Quest and Blaster Master, but none of these games are included in this edition. Instead, we get 3 games that were only released for the Famicom in Japan, so it's no wonder if many missed these games. But before we get into the games themselves, I want to show you what you get. You get galleries that contain images from the games. You can now also rewind and save and load. You can also adjust the screen to your liking. So there are some basic features that deepen the experience to some extent. Oh, you can also read the manual for each game. The first game is Wings of Medulla, and this is a platform game with a pretty cool concept for its time. The game was released back in 1986, and already here you could find items that strengthen your character. For example, new swords and magic spells. But this game is hard. You only have one life, and if you die, it's game over. Back to the beginning. Pretty unforgiving. And the enemies can be quite tricky to master. Their movement patterns are quite tricky, and it's important to understand how they behave so you don't take unnecessary damage. But like I said, a pretty cool game for its time. Then we have a game with the longest title ever. Firework Thrower Kantaro's 53 Stations of the Tokaido. This is also a platform game with a control that could use a major upgrade. It feels like being on ice. Every time you have to turn, you slide away. The enemies are mostly ninjas and others who want to see you lose as quickly as possible. But if you can stay out of the way and eliminate the enemies with your grenades, then you can actually get somewhere in this game. But just like Wings of Medulla, this is also a challenging game. If you get touched once you die, and after a couple of times it's back to the beginning. The last game is a point-and-click game called Ripple Island. I have to be honest and say that at first I didn't understand anything. You have access to a number of commands, but you don't know what they mean. And when I go and read the manual, everything is written in Japanese. Doesn't help me much. I don't think this edition includes an English manual, but after trying for a while and googling a bit, it became understandable. So you move around between different screens and bump into obstacles. Sometimes you run into villages and talk to the inhabitants. You can also find and pick up different items. I'm actually impressed. This game is almost 40 years old and is basically a relatively advanced point-and-click game for its time. Okay, so this collection of games should suit anyone looking to play titles you may have missed, but I have a hard time seeing what audience this collection is aimed at. I mean, these are games that definitely belong in the 80s, and I think maybe this collection should have included a little more than just these 3 games and some images from each game. I would have preferred if there were a few more games or if it included some remastered versions as a supplement. It is certainly not the most expensive collection, it costs $10. But still, it feels like something is missing here. Maybe if there was a physical version, there would at least be a different value in it, but I see the digital version as a relatively pointless purchase. I would have liked more for the money. I just want to add that it looks like this collection will be released in a physical format, and that might be where you should put your money, because this feels more like a collector's item than something that should be owned digitally. But anyway, it was pretty fun to check out some old and odd titles. I hadn't played them before anyway. Sunsoft is back, is now available in Nintendo's eShop. The price is set at $10. Do you think it seems worth it? Feel free to comment below. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and give the video a thumbs up. Have a good day. See ya!